Greetings, class. Dr. Asbury here. Uh, we're going to be covering Intro to Music Appreciation, visiting some things like musical elements, musical eras, musical time periods, and various elements of music. So, without any further ado, let's go on and get started. Let me share my screen here. Okay, first of all, the fundamental question that we have to ask is what is music? And music can be described many ways, but for purposes of this class, music is defined as the organization of sounds towards beauty. What does that mean? Simple. I can make armpit farts all day, but it doesn't mean anything. It's just noise until I try to organize it to be pleasing to the ear or towards beauty. So, music, therefore, is defined as the organization of sounds towards beauty. And there are several various genres that we will visit during this class. First of all, vocal music, music that is sung. That's our first genre. This includes oratorio, a rock song that you might, or rap song that you might hear on the radio, whatever. Instrumental music, which is music that is played by musical instruments. Sacred music, which is for music for religious purposes, and also secular music, music of the world. This includes your rap genres, your rock genres, jazz, any music that isn't religiously affiliated. All right, let's talk about some of the elements of music. First of all, element is a small part that makes up this thing we call music. Our first element is called tempo, which means speed. How fast is the music playing? Is it fast? Is it slow? Is it medium? Is it very fast? Is it very slow? Etc. Dynamics, which means how loud is the music? Is the music forte, which means loud? Is it piano, which means soft? Is it mezzo, which means in between? Melody, this is the part of the music that is sung, that you can sing, easy to sing. It's musically satisfying to the ear, and it's a group of single notes. And supporting the melody is something called harmony. Harmony is the simultaneous sounding of musical notes to produce chords. And again, this forms a pleasing effect on the ear. Mood, this is a big one. How does the music make you feel? Does it make you feel happy, sad, devout for religious purposes? How does the music affect your emotions? Growth, this is probably the most important musical aspect. How does the music change from beginning to end? Music in that way is like life. We are born and then we grow, we change from when we are born till time of our death. Music can and should, must and should change from beginning to end. Instrumentation, which instruments are playing? Some more musical elements are ensemble. What type of group is playing? Is it a string orchestra? Is it a marching band? Is it a jazz band? Is it a choir? Is it a string quartet? A symphony orchestra? What kind of group is playing? Or is it just the soloist? Composer, which means who wrote the music. Anyone who writes music is called a composer. And all of these elements combine to form this thing we call music. Okay, next, sorry for the interruption. Next, we are going to delve into the musical eras. An era is simply a time period. And before we delve into time periods, we have to define two terms: CE and BCE. Um, Now, scholars and historians believe and now understand that not everybody celebrates the Christian faith. And so, therefore, we moved away from the terms BC, before Christ, and AD, Annual Domini. We moved away from those terms in order to get to a more universal terminology for studying history. We moved to CE, which means Common Era, and BCE, before Common Era. And the first musical era that we will study is the medieval period, which lasted from 1000 to 1350 CE, or Common Era. The second musical era is the Renaissance, which lasted from 1450 to 1600. The third period is the Baroque period, which lasted from 1600 to 1750 CE. Then there's the Classical period, which coincides with the Enlightenment, the founding of this country, and so forth, which lasted from 1750 to 1820 CE. Then there is the Romantic period, which lasted from about 1820 to 1900 CE. Now, we didn't just wake up and all of a sudden we're in the Baroque period, and it didn't happen like that. It happens gradually over decades. Styles change, and therefore it launches us into a new musical era. Let's talk about some of the instrument families. First is the string family. This includes such instruments from highest to lowest: violin, the viola, the cello, and the double bass. Moving on to the brass family, and sound is usually produced in brass instruments by buzzing the lips into a mouthpiece. From highest to lowest, those instruments are the trumpet, French horn, trombone, and the tuba. Then we move to the woodwinds, and they're called woodwinds because they were originally made of wood. And that includes such instruments as the flute, oboe, clarinet, and bassoon. And again, these are arranged from highest to lowest sounding instruments. Finally, the percussion family, which includes instruments such as the snare drum, the bass drum, cymbals, kettle drums, or timpani as they are called, and the piano. Yes, the piano. Now, the piano is an interesting instrument because when you strike that key and the key strikes a string, that is a percussive act. And so, therefore, it's part of the percussion family. Also, I guess you could say it's part of the string family because it includes strings. So, and that is the introduction to music in a nutshell.